Hello everybody, welcome to Just One Perspective. My name is Josh. Thanks for joining. Noise ordinance already. It's a nice day out, so people are driving. Well, I say it's a nice day out, but it's actually like 96 degrees out here. So what better way to cool down than a nice glass of Auchentoshan single malt scotch. Very smooth. I like how he's very smooth. No, it is really smooth. It's really good. Nice finish. I don't really smell it. I think I don't have a good sense of smell. My wife will smell stuff a lot longer or earlier than I will, but I'll hear stuff earlier than she will. I'll be like, quiet. Do you hear that train? And she'll be like, I hear nothing, but I smell the brake fluid on the train or just whatever. Anyway, today we're going to talk about 5 tips for brand new managers. And a lot of times what I try to do is talk about either new managers or new leaders. But today will probably be more along the lines of actual managers, people who are in charge or in charge of other people, ensuring that they are getting their work done, and also who have influence over things like their salary and things like that, right? You can be a leader in other areas, but specifically a manager has those additional duties. And so these tips today are for if you're new into a management level at an organization in which you have influence over people's livelihoods, like their salaries and their jobs, and whether they remain employed at the company or the organization or not. So jumping right in, first tip for new managers, number 1, no joking, right? No joking around. No joking with your subordinates, no joking in front of your subordinates, at least at the very beginning, right? Do not be joking, because it is very difficult to ascertain what people will find offensive and what they'll be okay with. You have to ease your way back into it. And I know this sounds a little silly. Well, it's just a harmless joke. I just made a real quick joke about firing somebody. See, there it is right there, right? If you joke about somebody's livelihood or somebody's ability to put food on the table for themselves or their family, it's not a joke to them. Might be a joke to you, might be funny in the moment, but if you joke about not giving out raises or giving raises to somebody else but not to them because of this or because of that, and you think it's a joke, it's not going to land well. So at the very beginning, when you're a brand new manager, don't joke. Learn what people will tolerate, what your subordinates will tolerate, what they find funny, what they don't, and just ease your way back into it. Whenever I would start on a new team, this also applies to that. If you're starting on a new team, whether you're a new manager or not, when you're taking over a new team, you're working with new people, don't joke until you have a better understanding of them. There's probably multiple ways to define different styles of humor, but the one that I've found has 4 of them. There's affiliative, which is like my sense of humor. We're laughing about similar things that we're seeing together, that we're experiencing together, even if it's negative, but we're laughing together. There's self-enhancing. You're joking to like build yourself up or maybe even others. There's aggressive, which is joking at the expense of others. And my experience with people who have this type of humor style lack the self-awareness or find it difficult to not jump into it. So if you're aware that your humor style is aggressive, then be especially mindful of this, because that will be a type of humor that does not land well at all. Did I say 4? There's a 5th one, self-defeating. So if you think of like Michael Scott, that funny scene from The Office where he tries to be self-defeating, you can go a little too far and just make fun of yourself and everybody feels awkward for you. So just be careful how you joke. I like the affiliative one because 1, I find it funny, and 2, it works better for everybody because you're sort of bringing everybody in and you're all laughing together. I've had to explain to people my sense of humor relies on absurdity, and so I will burst into laughter about something that somebody is feeling some pain on, and I'll have to say, hey, I'm sorry for laughing, but just so you know, I'm not laughing at you, I'm not laughing at your pain, I'm laughing at the absurdity, the outright absurdity of the situation. So sometimes it's good to be self-aware of the noise ordinance that people keep breaking while I'm trying to record. That's good to be aware of, but it's also good to be aware of your own sense of humor and what makes you laugh so that you can maybe explain it to people if it rubs them the wrong way. Okay, so 1, no joking. 2, develop your listening skills. And I really mean this, listening, not listening so that you can prepare a response, right? What you want to really work on is develop a skill for listening to everything somebody has to say before responding, and also being slow to respond. And in some cases, when you hear what they have to say, question yourself. Do I understand what they're actually saying? Or could they have used this word in their sentence a little bit differently than I might have used it? And then ask them, hey, real quick, when you use this word, when you say this, what can you explain, like, to help me understand what do you mean by that? Because I have my thoughts on it. So listening is more than just using your ears. It's using your brain to parse through and interpret what they're saying and ensure that you understand what they're saying the same way they do. There's a psychologist trick, a therapist, it's not a trick, but a technique, a therapist technique here, in which if you can repeat back to them their statement in such a way that they fully agree with it, then you've got it. So that's called active listening. Try that out and get better at it. Just you, as a manager, you will have lots of opportunities to get reps in on this. I suggest you take full opportunity to get those reps in. So develop your listening skills. Number 3, honk your horn. Number 3, honk your horn. Number 3, be humble. Understand and expect that you will not have all the answers. If you go in thinking that you're going to be the expert and you're going to know everything, guess what? You are wrong. You are going to fall flat. And as Jocko Willink says, be humble or get humbled. And it is better to go in assuming you know nothing in front of new people who report to you, instead of going in and getting humbled in front of those people later and having to rebuild your relationships. It's better to go in with a blank slate and let them know that you're coming in with a blank slate. And even telling them sometimes, hey, I'm surrounded by experts in this room. You're all experts at something that I'm not, and I'm here to learn from you. And that's one way to go about it, is interact with every single person as though you have something to learn from them. This will work wonders for you going forward. Even if you feel a little dumb at the beginning, hey, we all do. So get used to that, okay? Let's see, number 4 and 5, I'm switching these around. Number 4, no commiserating with the team. In other words, don't be griping with the team. If the organization makes a decision that you're not happy with, do not go and complain to your team about it. Griping goes upwards or even across, right? There's a scene in Saving Private Ryan where, what's the guy's name? Tom, he plays Woody in Toy Story. Oh my goodness, I know all of you watching are like, it's this guy, it's Tom so-and-so, but I'm blanking right now. Thank you all for saying it out loud, but it's not helping right now. So anyway, the sergeant in Saving Private Ryan, he explains this. He's like, no, because they ask him, Sarge, why do we never hear you complaining about this? So he's like, well, griping goes up the chain. You know, you gripe to me, I gripe to my boss, he gripes to his boss, but it never comes back down. So that's the way to think about it. Don't be griping in front of them. It undercuts the organization, and it actually makes you look less of a leader. You're one of the gang. You're not a company man or woman. You have to be that company man, that company woman. You have to be representing the organization, which means you can complain about it all you want to your peers, to your boss, but never complain about it in front of your subordinates. Okay? And number 5, the 5th and final, it's Tom, what is his name? Oh, it's going to drive me nuts. Okay, number 5, I've derailed myself with it. Accept full ownership for the team. You win as a team, you lose as a team, and that's all on you. That's what this book is about, extreme ownership. You were probably wondering why I had it sitting here and when I was going to bring it up, but this is Jocko Willink's book on leadership, which I think is fantastic, and I think every new manager should read, and every experienced manager should read regularly, maybe once every couple years or something like that. The leadership lessons are timeless and fantastic. It's my favorite leadership book. Some of it's dry, some of it's better than other parts, but that's kind of the entire concept of extreme ownership. Is if the team fails, it is on you. You are responsible for the team's performance, and you can't be blaming anybody else. If you're blaming anybody else, then hey, you're not a leader. Step out. step out, let somebody else do it, who will actually take ownership, take full responsibility, and get everything moving. If somebody on your team fails, you say, that's my failure, that's mine. What do I need to do? Does that person need to be coached? Does that person need training? Or is it so bad that I need to go down a different path and maybe even look to remove this person because there's no hope for them to turn it around, and that way I can bring in somebody else to make this team a cohesive unit that will actually provide results and perform to the degree in which we need it to. So it's all on you. You have those choices. Sure, you can't make every single choice for the team. You work for a company or an organization where you have to get approvals and things like that. Doesn't matter. Still on you. If that team's not succeeding, not performing, that's your fault. Okay? That's the way to think about it. All right? And I know that's hard to accept, but guess what? The quicker you realize that and accept that, the more successful you're going to be quicker. The quicker you will be successful. So, yep, that's all 5 of them. I got through it. This is Akantoshan. It's delicious. This is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. Go read it. And if you're a new manager and you have other suggestions or tips, you know where to write them. And I am Josh. Thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate it. Do all the social media things if you want. Click those buttons and share it out to people. Mostly share this out to somebody if you think that they will benefit from its message. That's really what I'm going for here. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate all of you. Stay vigilant out there. We'll see you next time. Tom Hanks. It was Tom Hanks. I deserve a glass of whiskey for that. I remembered. I sat here until I thought of it. Okay, bye all.